Hi guys, today we're going to react to Money Game Part 1 by REN. This is the Buy Me a Coffee request by Robert M. Thank you, Robert M, for requesting this song. We are actually excited to do it.
Yep, thank you, Robert. Much appreciated.
It's a strange time we're living in. War can put fear in. Hierarchy parties, they make us feel inferior. Greed runs through parliament interiors. Devils walk among us, they fit the criteria. Eerie theory, strife, fearing, weary-minded men when we're clearly living in dictatorships. Nearly blinded by illusions to choose who's fooling who. A ball chained to your shoes on pain. It's a crying shame. The pursuit of our own wealth lights a flame that makes greed a game that lets this whole war burn. As the world turns, the whole world burns. But money was invented for trade, but now those bits of paper twist hearts, make slaves, turns a saint into a sinner, a child into a killer. His finger on the trigger of a money game. Oh, rain, 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 a storm it comes our way. And those who rise to distorted lies, poison in the veins. But we'd like to point the blame, 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 blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this old money game. Stop.
As always with REN, there's a fair bit to unpack, so it's hard to really find the thread from which to begin. One thing I can say, just the beginning rhythm, dun, 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 it reminded me of Pink Floyd's Another Brick on the Wall. From what we've seen of REN's sentiment, the title of this song kind of hints at what he's singing about. And the same thing we've seen in Jenny and Screech, the fact that he's creating all the sounds and it seems like a deserted place, a parallel universe or something. He creates the sounds with the bat and different types of sounds, totally in unison with a guitar accompanying him. I'm just loving it so far.
I agree with your Pink Floyd comment. I definitely was a bit reminiscent of that, and I believe that's probably on purpose. But
yeah,
the space, I don't see it as necessarily some sort of a parallel universe type thing, but it's definitely a secluded place. They're always like isolated. And in this case, it looks like we know why. Because the way the person is wrapped with a sheet and roped up in certain places, that's usually how they cover either a body or someone who's about to be tortured.
Yeah, the victim. He's the victim.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I think obviously this figure here playing a guitar represents either someone from the song. It's either us as the public or the dictator or something, which we will know as the song progresses. But it's very much a political, social commentary kind of thing, which reminded me more of Sick Boy, where he had something to say about injustice that's inflicted upon us from, let's call it, higher ups. He's always captivating. That's the thing. It's like he's in total control. He knows what he's doing. And we now know also that every little thing counts. Everything he's doing. It's a song within a cinematic universe, if you know what I mean. It's like we're watching a movie, and as we know, all good filmmaking is supposed to be that way, where everything you see in the frame on screen has a purpose, and I think that's the case here as well. And it's just, it was a very interesting opening as well when you see the rope dragging on the floor. Already it piques your curiosity. What's going on there? Why is this rope being dragged? What's happening? Even him slapping the figure with the glove, putting on the gloves, grabbing the bat, making that rattle noise against the bars, and then hitting the wall and then hitting the floor. Everything was part of the music. It's like he's playing the bat and anything around him as an instrument. Quite amazing.
Under the guise of an expressionist, you're actually looking at an architect or an engineer. Every piece of it is calculated into it. And it kind of makes me curious about his thought process. What comes first, the music or what he wants to show visually? Because the music is just a part of what he's doing here. What we said about when we reacted to Jenny and Screech, he's a storyteller. The visuals are an integral part of what he's doing here. It's not just a musician in these parts. And what you said about the person with his face covered, it hints at that this person is playing to the tune of the aggressor. REN is presented as the aggressor here with the gloves. He sets the tone. So the victim is playing to his tune without even knowing that he's maybe doing that because his face is covered. He's the oppressed one.
Well, that I believe we will find out, because it could be that REN is actually representing the oppressed who have been pushed too far and are fighting back.
Could be.
So anything here is possible. And that's sort of the beautiful thing about what REN does and how he does it. I think he keeps you on the edge of your seat the whole time. People have commented on previous episodes that he has a team that works with him as far as, you know, making the videos and everything, which he, you know, they come up with the concepts and direct and all the rest of it. And it's very, very much a filmmaking kind of mind.
Not surprising.
Yeah, and it's just the visuals are exciting and just very, very interesting. It's so hypnotizing in that way that it keeps you on the edge of your seat, where you want to know what's coming next, what's going to happen. You're trying to guess where it's going, and at the same time, you just want to kind of sit back and let it unfold. So it kind of leaves you in that limbo as well.
Yeah.
You know, where you want to know, but you also want to experience it.
It's masterfully avoiding a visible construct to the storytelling, so you will not be, even if you're an avid story lover and a film lover, you will not be able to predict where this is going. They're outside of known film formulas.
Yeah, and it's not quite like picking a twist in a movie where if you have more of an idea about, you know, film tropes and script tropes and how they work, you can kind of pick it in advance. With him, it's much, much more difficult. Yeah, because it's a completely different construct. When he hit that line, "Oh, rain, rain, rain," he did that with his singing voice. I think I had an eargasm.
Eargasm.
It was beautiful. Like, he has that slight grit to his voice, and it sounded so good. It sounded like sort of like a reggae type singing. Like, straight away Bob Marley popped into my head, but it sounded so freaking good. And I don't know, I just love it when he sings. I love it when he raps, and I love it, you know, when he does other things, but when he sings and he actually kind of almost belts a certain section, I think he should sing more. You know, it's just that good.
Yeah.
Just wow.
Insinuating at his taking on the character of the aggressor, rain, 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 as in raining money, and he's wearing a raincoat and gloves as his character is an individual who's used to getting all the money, you know, because he's used to making money rain.
I actually interpret it differently. He says, "Oh, rain, 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 a storm it comes our way." So he's actually prepared for some sort of storm that's coming. So basically, it's the backlash, it's the fight back, it's the
coup.
Yeah, it's the revolution.
Yeah.
I think that's why. The next line was, "And those who rise through distorted lies, poison in the veins. But we like to point the blame, blame, blame." So some lines here are just killer. As the world turns, the whole world burns. You know, it's just fantastic.
Yeah, because time is not solving anything. Generation to generation, people are born with distorted mindsets. That's what makes the world burn. Time isn't solving anything here. It's like having an entire world within a line of a song. You can talk about each line for, you know, for a prolonged period of time and still not get it. Yeah.
And just in this section so far, you know, where he says, "But money was invented for trade, but now those bits of paper, twisted hearts make slaves, turns a saint into a sinner, a child into a killer, his finger on the trigger of a money game." So he's basically saying it's not money's fault, it's people. We are using it wrong. Money was invented for trade, but that's not what we're using it. We're using it for power. And he's not even saying they are using it for power. He's saying we. He's taking on the blame, and he's saying it, you know, take a look in the mirror. It's our fault. We need to fix it, not throwing it at somebody else. And I love that. That's sort of how I believe is the correct approach. He just never ceases to amaze me. And I'm sure, you know, that we're missing out on a ton of stuff as well, you know, as a sort of a first-time reaction, seeing this for the first time.
Yeah, it's okay to miss because there's so much there. You don't need to feel bad that you're missing out on a lot of stuff.
No, but it's almost like we saw about, I don't know, a third of the song, and it's already fantastic. It's like, hey, we can stop here and we had a great time. You know what I mean? It's like, he's just that good. But yeah, let's see what goes. This is amazing.
Dear Mr. President, it's evident that everyone's a resident of fear when they support these ideas to keep us separate. When they make us believe that everybody is coming to terrorize you in the streets, they say proudly through gritted teeth, it's my right to hate, that's freedom of speech. But when did freedom become a reason to hate? A way to justify a racist slur or insult we make? There's an irony in freedom, cause us in the West, we have pillaged and plundered the murder that savages colonized all of the rest. That's called hypocrisy. Preach a certain value that you never keep yourselves. Your country was in flames, you denigrate yourselves in a second. Still you spit your venom, demonizing immigrants when really you're the immigrant. Cause all of us are immigrants or descended from immigrants. Irony is imminent, I'll shed the light on immigrants. America was colonized by Britain. Britain, it was colonized by Rome, and also colonized by the Saxons. They were German, by the way. You know how people throw shade upon the Germans because of history's pain, and yet we made the same mistakes all again. Demonize a whole people, Jewish or Muslim, the same and the same. Old situations play on repeat, the same old TV shows repeat. Yeah, we worship the bleak. Our opinions aren't our own, and we follow like sheep. There's no left, there's no right. In the middle we sleep. Rain, 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 rain. A storm it comes our way. And those who rise through distorted lies, poison in the veins. But we'd like to point the blame, 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 blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this whole money game.
At this point, I'm thinking that what he says about how they are teaching us to hate each other, and it makes me think other things about the rain element. I like to think that it means that everybody gets wet. So the rain may be the agenda of the intellectuals who are breeding hate, making sure that we hate each other so we won't pay attention to what is being done to us. We are all governed by this grand agenda to have us fall in line and be herded as sheep, you know, because we're too busy not taking care of ourselves and fighting each other. We're actually not seeing that we are just a part of a larger design to keep us enslaved. Something in there. It doesn't discriminate. Rain doesn't hate. Yeah.
The rain here could be anything. Could be, like you said, you know, raining money, raining hate, raining tears. This could be like basically crying over the situation. It could mean anything. The addressing the president thing is kind of beautiful here, you know. It's evident that everyone's a resident of fear when they support these ideas that keep us separate. When they make us believe that everybody's coming to terrorize you in the street, they say proudly through gritted teeth, it's my right to hate. That's freedom of speech. But when did freedom of speech become a reason to hate? It's all, this song, I believe, is from a few years ago, around about 2020, I think. And it is so relevant to what's happening today. He especially got me after that. He talks about immigrants, we're basically how we're showing prejudice sort of against immigrants. But we're all descendants of immigrants, you know, it doesn't matter how we look at it. If I was born in a certain country, it doesn't mean my parents were. And we all come from somewhere. We've all colonized or been colonized or whatever, but we still use it to keep that cycle of hate and war and, you know, indifference between people going. It's amazingly relevant to today. But he says our opinions aren't our own, and we follow like sheep. There's no left, there's no right, in the middle we sleep. He's saying what we have been saying, what many people have been saying about what is happening today in the world of politics, and especially the younger people who are protesting and who are virtue signaling and everything, and that their opinions are not even their own. You know, they got that information from somewhere and they run with it. And he's saying basically in the middle you sleep because you have no idea which side you belong to, what your opinion really is, and what's truth and what isn't. It's like an open your eyes moment, you know?
Yeah, it comes back to a very familiar term, divide and conquer. In order to manage people, to enslave people, to have people do what you want them to do, you can't have them united. You have to give them a visceral reason to oppose each other. And hate is a very good emotional tactic to make sure that the people you govern are divided. Because if they're not divided, they're not manageable. If they're not divided, they can unite and they can overthrow you as a regime. So you have to have them fighting, you have to have them hating each other.
Well, divide and conquer is not just a term, it's a strategy.
Yeah.
So hate, as you put it, is a tool, and it's much easier to use it today in the age of social media, where basically you use lies and propaganda to perpetuate hate. And it's just so easy, as we can tell, to brainwash people, as we can see in what's happening today. People are just brainwashed and they run with it. And it's just the hate, it spreads like a virus. And the situation also spreads out of where it is to further out. The radius is growing fast. And it's amazing how relevant this song is to today. today, when it was written, it wasn't quite on the cards that things would happen the way they have happened and are happening today. But there were hints, but this is pretty spot on, just genius.
Yeah.
And he says, and those who rise through distorted lies, poison in the veins. But we like to point the blame, blame, blame. It's easier to blame, but point the mirror at ourselves. We're all part of this old money game. So everything in some way is driven by money. The people who drive other people to hate, it comes from money, from that quest for power. And we like to blame other people. He's almost saying, if these tricks work on you, you need to look in the mirror and blame yourself and fix. Don't keep following what you're being told. Fix yourself. See what's right in front of you. And I think that's just pretty amazing.
Yeah. It's like he's imploring people to look in the mirror and realize that if I'm the kind of person who blames other people for all my problems or for the world's problems, then that means that the intellectuals of the world that ensue hate have me right where they want me. They want me blaming other people. They want me not taking responsibility for my life. They want me in that mindset. That means I will perpetually be with my head down, perpetually be, this is the reason why I do not succeed. This is the reason why I don't have anything to eat. This is the reason why I'm unhappy, because of other people.
Yeah, it's almost like saying accountability will set you free.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of ironic that in an age where information is the most accessible it has ever been in history, you'd think that people will cling on to facts and truth and have respect for truth because the information is accessible. Many people can get the same information. It's ironic that these are the times where emotions trump truth more than ever, and it's acceptable. How I feel is more important than the facts that you present.
And don't forget, information is more easily accessible than ever, but so is misinformation.
Yeah.
And that's where people come in, because us as people, we will always use things the wrong way. The same way he says, money was created for trade. We use it as a weapon. Social media, the internet, technology, whichever way you want to look at it, was created to inspire knowledge and to give access to information and truth. And instead, we use it for misinformation and lies. That is pretty heavy.
Yeah, it is. I like what he said about the West. He calls the West on their hypocrisy. The West likes to believe that they are a beacon of moral thinking. They're not.
Yeah.
And they know they're not. And even the younger generation knows that they're not, but they're not feeling it because it happened so long ago. They were born into a state of abundance. So that's why they are being led with their emotions.
Because these days, with the younger generation, and it's a growing concern because it's becoming more and more a thing, where virtue signaling is more important than virtue.
Yeah,
that's kind of what's happening in the world right now.
Yeah,
it's very sad, and I think if Ren knew about this when he wrote this song, it would have been a lot more, severe.
Because hate is an emotional tool, you can pass it along through generations without having anybody ask questions. It's easy to make people disregard facts and disregard intellectual discourse when they're blinded by their own emotions. That tool actually serves who's ever pulling the strings to ensure their place as a ruler.
So what you're saying is true about hate. I think that it can get passed on through generations, just like trauma. And I think because in some way it's also driven by loyalty. You're loyal to your own kind of thing. So you take on certain things as absolute truth when sometimes they aren't necessarily. And that's another thing that I think he is saying here in this song, that the same way that he says there's no left, there's no right, in the middle we sleep. He's saying there's no you and me and others and whatever. We're all the same. So I think that's very intentional.
We're all part of this whole money game.
that last part, what he did with the gasoline, I think it encapsulates his entire message. It's like he's saying as out of despair, what are we doing? This is where we're all headed. You're trying to divide and conquer. You're trying to herd the people and to keep the poor poorer and the rich richer. But we're all gonna burn for this. We are all headed towards doom. That's what I think he meant in that last part where he sat down and doused himself with gasoline and was about to light himself on fire. It's like well, as a species, we're committing slow suicide without even realizing it. Doesn't matter who we are. If we are the governing entities or if we are the governed entities, we're all headed to the same direction.
He could be saying so many things. You know, he doused that other figure with gasoline before he doused himself, and he's about to light it. It's almost like saying, if I kill you, I kill myself as well. There's something that needs to be said about Ren. You know, he even though he's a musician in a lot of ways, and again, I know it's a team, it's not just him, but this is a filmmaker approach. He's a master of building tension.
Yes. Yes.
The whole time we are thinking, what's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? There's like this constant stress when watching his work, especially of a more serious nature, I guess, in a way. I mean, they're all pretty serious. But I mean, it didn't quite happen for me in this way, but I can see how other viewers would sit there and their pulse would rise.
Yep.
You know,
Agreed.
because you get stressed, you know, with what's happening. With me, it's like it's more of a curiosity thing. Like my brain is firing in all different directions.
Yeah.
What's going to happen next? What's going to happen next? I'm trying to figure it out. The same as I watch a movie. It's almost like reminds me of like you and I had a conversation about M. Night Shyamalan, saying, you know, he's a director that knows how to create tension. I mean, you know, for better or worse, he's got good films, he's got crappy films. But Ren here reminded me of that. But unlike a movie, in a Shyamalan film or even anyone else, I can, most of the time, or let's say 90% of the time, I can work it out. I know what's going to happen in the end. With this, I can't. Because it's a song, it's a music video. I don't know. He can go wherever he wants with this. And the beautiful thing is, even at the end of it, after he holds up a lighter and lights it up, he doesn't give you an answer. He doesn't tell you what happened. You don't hear a whoosh, flames go up. You know, you could have just used the sound to do that.
Yeah, he doesn't know, you know, if he did it or not. Yeah, the if.
Exactly.
He leaves you with an
exactly.
if.
He leaves everything at a question mark.
Yeah.
If he did he burn? The other guy didn't. You know, did they both die? Did none of them die? Was this to prove some sort of a point, or was this really to go all the way with it? Did he leave it open for a number 2 and a number 3 at this point? Was it already planned? Was it not? Only Ren knows. He leaves it open on purpose because he wants you to keep thinking about this after it's over. He doesn't want us to have an answer. He doesn't want us to know what happened. We can't leave after watching this video and have an answer in our head. Oh yeah, he lit both of them on fire. He lit just himself on fire. He lit the other guy on fire. You know, you can't have an answer because this needs to keep rolling around in your brain. And when it's rolling around in your brain, the subject matter of this song, poem, whatever you want to call it, the actual text will be rolling around in your brain.
Yeah, it resonates.
And he is teaching this way. So most of the people who watch this will go on and think about money and about politics and about people and about regimes and about immigrants and about all of this, because he forces you to do it without you even realizing it. That to me is genius.
Yeah. To sum up what you said, he's not presenting an art piece or giving you a product. He's incepting a process which he hopes you will pick up on.
Or he's doing both.
I like what you said about before. He has a filmmaker's approach, and because his work is like a series of riddles, you don't know exactly what to look at or how to interpret what you're seeing. And then he has these seemingly lull moments because he's comfortable with stopping the music and giving us sort of a scene, sort of a film scene. I think he knows by the description. I think if you read the script of his music videos and you came from a storyteller's point of view, they're not, wait a minute, won't people get bored? They're looking at a music video. No, they're not. The exact opposite happens because you don't know what's coming next, because you have no formula in your head, because this isn't a movie. That's the magic about creating riddles in your work.
Because he knows the power of what he's doing here. He knows that this is like psychological warfare.
Yeah.
His music and the way he presents it. And he knows this could be construed as some kind of brainwashing. He doesn't give you answers. He gives you food for thought.
Yeah.
So he leaves you with this information, and then go have a think about it Go search for more information. He's not telling you what to think, because then he would be doing exactly what he's preaching against.
Yeah.
I just love that. He's saying, look in the mirror. He's saying, educate yourself. He's saying, think. We have a brain for a reason, but a lot of people don't tend to use it. And he's using this money. The money is almost the MacGuffin here, if you know what I mean. It's like an object or a subject or something that is used to actually pass on a separate idea.
Yeah. The money is the what. It's the what everybody's chasing after. And he's trying to get you curious about the why, curious about human nature, that MacGuffin, as you said. What he's conveying is not a doctrine. In any of what we've seen, there's no place where he's saying, this is what I believe, and this is why you should believe it too. He's not saying that at all. He's not even claiming that he knows what's right. He's like you. He's asking questions. He's asking himself the same questions. That's why maybe he doesn't leave any answers, because he doesn't know the answers. Maybe he's trying to create discourse, make people talk to each other.
He's a master storyteller, and he's also a master communicator. So he's talking to us through his music. There is a conversation happening here. It's like he's telling us and himself in a way to look in the mirror. Like I said, there's an accountability thing. He's not actually preaching or telling us off. He's not saying, oh, you guys are idiots. You should do this, and that, while I am better than you. He's saying we're all fucked up. For lack of a better description, we should all look in the mirror. We should all start doing this so that we don't fall into those traps that are out there for us. It amazes me to think that there's a second and third part to this, because I think this song alone, we could probably do a 2-hour episode, which we should be careful not to do, because there's so much more to unpack here and to get into the nitty-gritty of the lyrics and everything we see on camera, which is almost impossible to do with one viewing. Because it's so intricate, it's something that needs a more careful sort of look into and another read, and to really break it down. It's a beautiful thing. I love it when art, whether it's filmmaking or writing, any kind of literature or music, makes me think. To me, it's a lot more than just entertainment, and this is art.
I think it's an innate skill that he has, or approach to a skill that he honed. He seems to be able to hack into the subconscious, because at face value, you're looking at a very good song that has some breaks in it. He's showing you it's like a short film. Is it a song? He has these symbolic things that he does with the character and with the guitar. There's stuff inside. You don't know how deep it goes. You can start even talking about it, but look at what we're doing now. You could start talking about it with other people as you talk and listen, you discover things in it. Now, he knows exactly what he's doing. But the fact that it infiltrates the subconscious in such a hard level, I think we're going to think about this song for a long time. These types of songs, his work, that's an integral part of his genius.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to part 2 and 3, because those might provide some answers, though knowing Ren, it's probably going to raise more questions. The thing is, since we started reacting to his music, we've called him many, many different things. Master storyteller, puppet master, we called him. We said he's pulling our strings, and I think that is also sharpening into something. I called him a musical Swiss Army knife, and you just termed something that is also very, very relevant, because he is a brain hacker.
Yeah, subconscious hacker.
And to some people might even say a soul hacker, because he really gets you where it counts.
Yeah.
And it's just amazing how well it works, because it seems to work for so many people. We've seen this in the views and in the comments, and the way people responded even to our reactions. You could tell that a lot of people share the same thoughts about Ren. So he's found a way to communicate, to reach a large number of people. And that is beautiful. From where I'm looking, this is just amazing.
And he manages to expose his vulnerability and to present his message in an unpretentious manner. Everything we've talked about has to do with his message and his work. Nothing in the song says, look at me, I'm Ren, and this is my song. And there's no indulging pride in it. It's about the song, it's about the work.
There's no like a hint of vanity or something like that there. And that's the thing, because I would say he's also like a Pied Piper. He's playing his flute and we're all kind of following. But at the same time, that's just with his music. He's not trying to take that outside. He's not trying to build a cult of followers who will just listen to the word of Ren. He's just giving us something to think about.
Yeah.
And he's trying to create change in that way. And it's amazing when somebody actually finds a way to do it. As artists, we're all looking for a way to do it. And obviously, some of us are more successful than others. So kudos to him. This is just fantastic.
Yeah, indeed. This was quite an experience. I'm going to go sleep for a month.
This trilogy of songs was requested by a hell of a lot of people. So it was on our list for a while, but now I just want to thank Robert M for putting the request through Buy Me a Coffee, making us bump it up the line, because this has been an absolute pleasure. And also, it's only the first part of the Buy Me a Coffee request, so we've got 2 more coming. So we're definitely looking forward to that. So thank you, Robert. Much appreciated.
Yeah, thanks, Robert. And thank you all for staying with us thus far. Stay tuned, because the next episode we publish is Money Game Part 2 by REN. If you enjoyed this episode, guys, please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click the little bell icon so you'll get notified on all our future videos. If you have a request you'd like bumped up the line, please make it through Buy Me a Coffee. All contributions are, of course, very much appreciated. Thank you all for sticking with us. Thank you all for your time.
He definitely gets his point across. That's something about him that happens with everything he does. As we said, everything has meaning, and he knows exactly what he's doing. So thanks a lot, guys. We appreciate you more than you know. Without you, there would be no show. So please keep coming back, keep viewing, commenting. We are looking forward to some interesting discussion in the comments. We will see you again in a day or two with the next installment of this trilogy. See you soon, guys. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye, guys.